Okay, let's talk about factors, which is type of the data types. Let's look at the murders data set, view, murders. So if you remember, we talked about, let's say, a region. Region is the class of the region. Let's look at the class. We looked at the structure, murders. So the region has a factor, data type, and again, we can look at the class of murder, region. So in this data set, a region shows as a factor, not as a character vector. It is a factor. So the factors are useful for storing categorical data, especially in this variable. In this variable, we have only 4 regions. So these regions, instead of storing them as text, as categorical data, we store them as numbers because it's more efficient than storing southwest, west, southwest, west. No, we can save them as numbers because we have only 4 levels. If you have a few levels, change or read this variable as factor, not as a character vector. So in this case, we have how many levels? Let's look at, it says we have 4 levels here, 4 levels. Let's look at the levels, murders, region. So as we said, in the background, R stores these levels as integers and keeps a map to keep track of these labels. It's more memory efficient than storing all of the characters. We have 4 regions, northwest, northeast, south, north central, west. Also, you have to know that the levels have an order that is different from the order of appearance in the factor object. So the default is for the levels to follow alphabetical order. But we often want the levels to follow a specific order. So we'll see different examples about how to change the order, but we can use the reorder function. So now they're appearing as north, east, south, north, central, and west. And these are assigned numbers to store the data. So if you want to change this, let's try to change this to use reorder function to change the order. So let's do this and change the order of the levels of a factor variable based on the summary computed on a numeric vector. Suppose we want the levels of the region by the total numbers of murders rather than alphabetical order. If we have variables or values associated with each level, we can use the reorder to specify a data summary to determine the order. And let's do this. Let's first assign a name to this region. We're gonna have it like a vector, just call it region. And let's create another object which contains the total. So this is the total, right? The total murders in each region. And we would like to, now the region, if you check the levels of the region, it's going to appear northeast, south, north, central, west. But if you would like to change the order, what you do is, I'm going to assign the same name, by the way, region. I don't want to create a new object. I'm going to make the changes on the object that exists right now because I don't want to create redundant objects. So keep it region. Keep everything in the region object, in the region variable. And use the function reorder. Reorder has many arguments. The first argument is going to take the region itself. The second argument is going to take the value, which is the total number. The third function, I would like to do the sorting or the reordering based on an argument called function. We're going to talk about this later, by the way. So just let's type this right now. And let's check the levels now. So you have changed the order. So you have the west, north, central, northeast, south. So based on the total. So it seems the west has the most or the highest total number of murders, right? And the south, we can find this by using different functions. The north central, then the northeast, then the south. So this is a kind of a quick introduction about factors. What you need to know right now about factors is that R use factors to store categorical data because we have now a few regions, a few values that this variable takes. So it's easier for R to save it as factor, not character. For example, if you look at the ab function, abbreviation, it's character, it's not factor. Why this is character is not factor? Because we have 51 different values, 51 text values. So it's not efficient to give them, to store them as integers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 51. There's no point of doing this. But because the region has only 4 values, so that's why we store them as factors that takes levels 1 up to 4. I hope this is helpful.